go ahead and get started. I don't have much to go over today. I just wanted to meet to see if there's any general questions on the lab reports at all or on the pulmonary lab.
For the statistical analysis, will we, do we have to graph the subjects, the class data?
For either part, you're saying?
Yeah.
I think it'd be helpful to show the averages. Like if you could do like a bar graph of the averages for, the pre and post for the wall sit, and then for the, what do you have, 4 time points for the biking. I think it would be good to kind of graph the averages. That might be nice to include.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions on the lab reports or on the pulmonary lab at all?
I did have a question. Like on the first lab, I was kind of confused. Like I did like the systolic and the diastolic, but then underneath it says resting pulse rate. What am I supposed to put for that part?
That's your heart rate.
Oh, when I hold is and count.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So just do that for, I think it tells you to do it for 15 seconds, but then convert it into beats per minute. So multiply that by 4 or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions on either of those things? Everybody's good? Okay. So I wanted to go over, again, this is more of a insurance policy for me than anything. But I wanted to go over both the exercise phys and the environmental labs. If I can get those open here, hold tight. So that way you know what's going on. So I'll start with the X-Phys lab. Here we go. Okay. And again, this information's all posted for you. You're going to need to work in groups. I think if we have groups of 2 to 4 people, and again, you guys can use that email list to figure out who wants to work in which groups. I don't care how you guys decide that. It doesn't matter to me. But I think 2 to 3 groups would be good. So groups of 2 to 4 people would be good. And basically you're going to create your own research question and experiment. You'll need to get your topic approved by Tuesday. Okay, so you've got the weekend and Monday, and again, it can be Tuesday night. I'm not going to be picky about that, to figure out what your topic is and how you're going to do things. And then basically you'll complete the research on your own, and then we'll present that project on Wednesday, July 15th. And the setup is basically you're doing a lab report as a presentation. So you'll provide an introduction where you talk about what your research question was, what your purpose was, and then what you hypothesized. Methods, what did you do for that data collection? Again, for results, we want to have at least 10 subjects. So if you guys use yourself as subjects and you have a group of 3, then each of you would be responsible for, finding 2 to 3 more people or whatever. You can split that up however you want to do it. Results are presented in either a graph or table format, and then statistical analysis is completed. And then you'll discuss your key findings, find 3 scholarly articles that are related to that topic so that you can kind of summarize and compare and contrast any errors or discrepancies with your data collection, and then kind of like a take-home message, what's the major findings that you had, okay? So again, I'm trying to think of some examples of different topics that people have done in the past. Really no limits here. Anything that has to do with physiology. Again, think about the equipment that you have in your lab packages. Again, you can use heart rate, you could use blood pressure. You've got the pulse oximeters you could use. You could do, What else have we done so far? You could do something with reflexes. So again, kind of sky's the limit in terms of what you want to do for these projects. I'm trying to think of some examples of what people have done in the past. Again, the idea is we just want to apply some of those physiological principles that we've talked about so far to an exercise scenario. So maybe, you know, I'm trying to think of, it's been a year since I've taught this class. So the hand grip tests, maybe, you know, I think I've had a group that did like you warmed up versus you didn't warm up to see who had a better grip strength or something like that. So again, you would have your participants do 2 different trials for that, for example. Let's see what else. You could do something with stretching and flexibility if you wanted to. Okay, does dynamic stretching improve your flexibility scores? You know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other ideas based on what you have. You guys have ideas? Or things that you're interested in, and then I can make it into an idea? Nothing? You're not interested in anything?
Like running and how many push-ups you can do.
Okay. So is there a relationship between muscular endurance and aerobic endurance? Something like that. That could be cool. So you have everybody run a mile and report their time, and then have everybody do, you know, however many push-ups they can do, and do like a regression or a correlation to see if those things are related. That could be cool. Yeah. Something like that. Okay. Other thoughts? Other ideas? Again, you don't have to like follow through with them. I'm just trying to give you guys ideas about different topics and what would work. Trying to think. Yeah, it's hard because normally if you were going to do this, I could check out more equipment to you, but I gave you all the equipment that I could give you already. So those are already like dispersed amongst the class. I don't know. Other thoughts on things that are interesting or you're curious about? Another thing that you'll do in the muscular phys, so you have the muscular phys lab is on Monday, and that one's a pretty, like that one has a lot of good stuff in it too. Like maybe you could do muscle diameter and number of push-ups. Okay, so does my bicep circumference, is that related to how many push-ups I could do or something along those lines? So people have done different things like that. Or there's this thing called, which students always love this project, transient hypertrophy. And it's basically like when you do strength training, like your muscles get pumped up, like you get the pump, which is basically an increase in blood flow to the muscles. And so we talk about that in the exercise physiology lecture, which is a little ways away yet, but basically like you can measure the muscle circumference before, then do exercise like a bunch of bicep curls or something, and then measure the circumference after to see what the difference is. So again, that's kind of an interesting study that a lot of students, seems like that's a common project that people do. But so anyway, like I guess my advice is maybe you guys start, do like a respond all to the email list, and then start getting some ideas going, and then kind of get your groups going from there. That's probably the best way to do that, I would say. And then, yeah, try to get me a topic by Tuesday so that I can get that approved, and then you'll be set to begin your data collection, however you guys want to do that. Questions on that, on the XFIS stuff? Okay. So then the other thing I wanted to go over today was the environmental lab. And we have 2 participants set up to do this. And they should start their data collection anytime. So all the information is posted, but they can start that. And I don't remember who the subjects are. They can start that anytime. It would be ideal if they start it soon, because it would be ideal if you have that data by Wednesday and you have to do 2 different sessions. And so basically you're going to do a hot session and a cold session. The hot session you want to do first, because I want to make sure that that's the harder of the 2 sessions. And so I want to ensure that you can like make it through the protocol with that. And then the cold session should be 1 to 2 days after. Doesn't need to be an all-out exercise bout, but it's supposed to be 18 minutes. Again, a little bit progressive, so should just be walking on a treadmill. So keep track of, you know, how fast you go on the treadmill in the hot session, and then you're going to mimic that in the cold session as well. Heart rate and RPE should be kept track of while you're doing that. And then those subjects will report that on the Google Doc that's posted. And then you guys have group presentations, which I need to modify these because we've lost 2 people. So I'll modify these groups and the questions and stuff. I'll do that today after class. But again, it's basically a lab report set up in a presentation format again. So you're going to, again, I gave you a topic, just kind of like what we did with the metabolism lab. And then you're going to create a hypothesis based on that particular portion of the data, and then explain the methods, results, discussion, and that's pretty much it. Errors and discrepancies. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of go over that. And again, I'll modify those groups because like I said, I do need to make a couple changes to those. And then that's pretty much all I need to explain, I think. Any questions on that? So again, if you're not one of those 2 subjects, you don't have to do any testing. You'll just do the presentation. Questions on that? Everybody's good. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. Those are the 3 major things I wanted to cover today. Super short. Happy holiday weekend. I know today's technically a holiday, so thanks for coming anyway. And so then on Monday, I will talk more about the muscle phys lab, which will be for Monday's class. And then we'll probably do a couple review things with the cardiovascular physiology and the pulmonary physiology. So I have a couple like review questions, how we've been going through those for Monday. Anything else, peeps? Everybody's good? Okay. Have a great weekend. That's all I got for you today. And I hope to see you on Monday.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
See ya.
Bye.